Monday Night Football was supposed to be a clash of the Titans, two of the top teams in the NFC. A lot of people's picks for the NFC Championship game. And if that's the NFC Championship game, hope the AFC one is good. It was a slog last night. In the end, the Eagles won. It was a rough one. Let's break down Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football saw the Philadelphia Eagles survive a grind of a football game against the Green Bay Packers. And look, just because a game is low scoring doesn't mean that it was bad. That being said, this wasn't a great football game. You did, like, Joe Buck saying it's the most entertaining 0-0 first half he has ever seen. That's probably true. Like, this was not a poorly played game or anything. It was just a little bleh. But it does leave a lot to be worried about when you are seeing how the Rams are playing, how the Seahawks are playing in this NFC, how we know the Lions can play. It does give you pause about these teams and watching it last night. Like when you watch Buffalo against Kansas City, even though this year's game was a little bit on the side and not as highly played, when you watch them in the past, it's like, okay, we are watching the two best teams. You watch Buffalo and Baltimore week 1. So you know what? We are watching two of the best teams in the National Football League go head to head. You watch the Eagles play the Packers. I did not get the sense that I was watching a battle of the Titans. I got the sense that I was watching a couple evenly matched teams, but teams that have some work to do. And I think that there is a lot to talk about regarding this game. Tall John saying that last minute drive and sequence was crazy. Yes. Decision making, wild. Execution, crazy. Let's talk about Sirianni's decision first. So the Eagles get the ball. Green Bay has 2 timeouts after a failed 4th down conversion from the Packers. And like even that itself, when Green Bay got the ball, part of it was because they were throwing it with Hurts. And I have said on here that Jalen Hurts isn't going to put up the biggest stats. But when it comes down to getting the job done, and when it comes down to winning time, this team with those weapons is going to be able to get the job done. But they threw it twice. It was incomplete. You allow the Packers to save their timeouts, get a drive. 4th down doesn't work, but now they've kept their timeouts. You extend the game, gives them another opportunity to go out and try to win. And then they've shut down the Eagles because everyone knows they're going to run the ball. There are some injuries on the offensive line for Philadelphia right now, which is the big concern in all of this. It's like Hurts, whatever. Saquon, maybe he's not what he was before. Play calling, whatever. The offensive line not being dominant is kind of the thing that this team has always hung their hat on. And if they're not going to be that, boy, that's a big problem for Philadelphia. And so you are doing it, and then 4th and 9, I believe, or 4th and 6, comes up. And the Eagles are deciding to go for it. Not a move I hate, by the way. You have a Green Bay team that, while not executing at a high level in this game, is still a pretty good team. And so there have been times where I have been frustrated about teams punting the ball to the other team and giving high-level offenses and high-level quarterbacks an opportunity to win it. Like, to me, I would rather take the chance of just, I'm not even gonna give them the ball back. What my issue is the play call. And I understand, like, A.J. Brown is a really, really good contested catch guy and a really good deep threat dude to try to like haul those in. Like that is his bread and butter. And so I understand, just throw it up, let him make a play. And like one of the worst case scenarios is the defensive back turns around and intercepts it, and it basically acts like a punt. And when you see it live, obviously there's a ton of face shielding going on with that, but when you see it live, the ball kind of hangs around in his arm area for just a half beat, and I was like, oh my god, he's going to pick this. It turns out he wasn't. It was just the way the ball bounced. But I was like, oh my god, that would be such a blunder after this blunder. But this is where I have issues with this Eagles team, is that they don't seem to know who they are, but they'll tell us who they are. And then when it comes down to the big moments, they get away from that. I don't understand it. We know the best thing the Eagles do is run the football. Saquon Barkley, he's great at that. Jalen Hurts, he's really dangerous with it. But they go through these stretches where they want to prove that they can throw the football, and they want to prove that they can execute in those ways. this was not the time to prove that. The best play the Philadelphia Eagles have is an RPO with Barkley, generally speaking, with Jalen Hurts keeping it. To me, one of them, aside from the tush push, one of the most automatic plays in the sport right now is a Jalen Hurts scramble for 5 or 6 yards. That just, like that, it's why you can kind of justify the low passing numbers, is because you just let that guy run with the football and he just wins. Like that is what he does. So that was the most obvious play to run in that spot. RPO, a couple quick slants with AJ Brown. Like, you want to do the contested catch thing with Brown? Do it right in front of your quarterback and take away some of the variance of a deep pass there. Like, that was so not the play call at that time. So it wasn't just the decision to go for it. It was the decision to go for it in the way that they did. And like, I don't get it with this team. You have all of these weapons and it has been so ugly all season. And they go through these stretches, like I said, where they're trying to prove that they can be the deep passing team, and they can get it to AJ Brown a ton, and they can get it to Devontae Smith a whole lot. They can be that team. And sometimes they'll try to prove that, you know what, stats don't matter to us. We're just going to get 100 yards, and we're going to, like, it just, for a Super Bowl champion, it still feels like they have a lot that they're trying to prove to people. And I don't love that mentality that they have. It's not as good as it was last year. Hurts, for whatever reason, it's been ugly this season. Saquon Barkley isn't as good as he was a season ago because the offensive line isn't as good as it was a season ago. Like, this just isn't as good of a football team as they were last year, which is fine because the one last year won the Super Bowl. But you have to be concerned about what you have seen with Philadelphia. After that, they still win the football game because the Green Bay Packers, again, cannot execute. And this is becoming a thing. And it is a bonus episode for another day, but I'm not the biggest believer in clutch and everything like that. And the best way to get me to start cheering for a guy and rooting for him is to start the narrative, oh, well, this guy can't win in the big game. And it's not that Jordan Love can't win in the big game. It's that he hasn't yet, and he kind of acts like he has. And I appreciate staying calm, we're mellow, we're focused, we're zen in the big moments. I get that. There still needs to be urgency with your play, though. And he doesn't have that. He is calm to a fault. Almost. Like, when you are trying to get these 2-minute offenses going and we're passing it over the middle, and like that's what's open, that is fine. But there isn't that urgency of like, hey, we kind of need to get this thing going here a little bit. It's in the pocket and it's looking. And okay, we're throwing off of our back foot and making bad decisions. Like, just the processing, the decision making is not at the high level that you would like it to be for a guy who we've all kind of anointed as an elite level quarterback. And the more you watch this season, the more you kind of realize he hasn't really shown us elite level quarterback stuff yet. Like, I feel like in our minds, we have progressed him further than he actually has because we like the weapons around, because we are just kind of used to the Packers having a quarterback that makes that progression, and because we get them in a lot of these primetime spots. But where have been, a couple weeks ago, they put up 360 yards, Love throws for 3 touchdowns, and immediately I fall into it. I'm like, okay, guy has figured it out. He's got it. Let's go. That's what they're doing. But then in the big moments, it doesn't happen. We haven't had the Jordan Love game in a game that's mattered a whole lot. And now, like, this division is snug. We can talk about all we want about the Bears and the Vikings being frauds. I can talk all I want about how the Lions, just something's a little bit off there. And I still feel that, by the way. Something feels a little bit off with that team. But regardless, this division is still close. This conference is still close. This is a team that was a Super Bowl favorite coming into the year, and the playoffs are not a guarantee. You got gifted this opportunity, and you still blew it. And the one thing, like, I saw people criticizing the LaFleur play calling after the game. I'm not there. I think LaFleur maybe a touch overrated based off of a good season, but I think we do that a lot. When a team has a good offensive season, oh, this coach is a guru. And when they don't have a good season, it's, oh, well, he's lost his fastball, doesn't know it. I'm sure there is more to it than that, and we just don't fully understand it because we're not doing a deep dive on play calling sequences and everything like that on every single team every single week. It felt to me last night Like, and Troy Aikman can be maybe a little too honest at times, but it felt to me last night like Aikman, every single play or every single drive, there is at least one where, oh, well, Jordan Love's going to want that back. The pass to Watson, the deep one, on the drive before this drive. Where, no, it might have even been the last one, where he has him kind of going on, I guess, like a skinnier corner route down the left seam, and he throws it up, and it's a contested catch, and it's incomplete, because the safety comes over and makes that play. And to me, like, just watching it initially, it's like, okay, well, that's not, like, safety came over, made the play, you're throwing it to your deep ball guy, that's okay. And Aikman immediately is like, that's when Jordan Love's going to want back, because if he throws it more toward the sidelines, it allows Watson to run over and make the catch, instead of having to do a contested catch with one of the better safeties in the National Football League. And that's kind of the next level that Love needs to get to. It feels like he's kind of throwing it to where guys are a lot and not necessarily anticipating a lot of the other things. And there have been a lot of misses on big plays this year. Matthew Golden fantasy owners are well aware of the misses that Jordan Love has had at quarterback this season. But there have been a lot of, if they were just that close, then maybe we could have got to a different area. So it's a problem now, I think, for Green Bay. Not a problem in the way the Raiders have a problem, in that, oh wow, Geno Smith just can't do anything. This is a problem in this team wants to win a Super Bowl, and I don't think that guy can do it. So I was in on the Packers even before the Micah Parsons trade. I was super in on them after it. And the defense looking really good, and Parsons coming up with a really good pressure on Jalen Hurts in this one to kind of help them get the ball back in that whole situation. Defense looked better. Defense looked good. I'm officially out on the Green Bay Packers now. That is it. We've made the declaration. I'm out on this team being a Super Bowl caliber team. Watching these, it did not felt... if Green Bay would have won, it wouldn't have felt like the better team won that game. It would have felt like a bad decision from Philadelphia gave them this victory. If they were to play a playoff game tomorrow against the Seahawks or the Rams, I'm taking either of those teams. I'm not feeling great about another matchup with the Detroit Lions. I don't know how you can really trust this team right now. And I just feel like it is... a lot of it's on the quarterback right now. And I don't love to just put it all on one dude, but a lot of it is on that guy at this particular moment. And it just feels like they are perpetually 85% of the way there. It is a great play where you have Jacobs kind of stay in, fake like he is blocking, and leak out so that the guy who was in charge of him started to come in on a pass rush and then has to leak out. He's wide open, but he turns the wrong way, and Love throws it to where he is supposed to be. So I guess my thought of Love is throwing it to where guys are, not where they're supposed to be. Off on that. But it feels like anytime two guys need to make the right read, one of them doesn't. So maybe it is coaching, but something is just a little bit off with the Green Bay Packers right now after a grind of a Monday night football game. In the chat, Tall John saying Trainwreck TV has a parlay for the game to be a tie in regulation for $2.25 million and pretty much had a heart attack with the last couple drive sequences for the Packers. Oh, dude, yeah. Could you imagine that? Like to have a tie after regulation and have all of that play out. And then just the weirdness at the end where McManus tries the big field goal. It comes up just short. So they try to do like a little hitch to the outside to get something. But like the Eagles absolutely baited them into trying that. Smart from Love to just overthrow it, get it out of there. And then, so you have all of this drama of maybe we're going to get it a little bit closer and maybe we're going to and to have it play out like that. And then to have McManus just way the other way. That had to be pretty disheartening if you had that one for sure. So again, I didn't look at this game and see two Super Bowl threats. I see two flawed teams, correctably flawed. But I see two flawed teams right now going head to head. But let me know what you think. I'm sure Eagles and Packers fans have some disagreements on that. Let me know what you guys think either in the chat live or in the comment section after. If you're watching this after the fact and go, chat section, yeah. We do these live multiple times a week to Toxic's point. The schedule doesn't always stick the way I would like it to. But the plan right now is to do tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time on YouTube, right here, youtube.com/@CouchPotatoDiary, twitch.tv/PrimetimePK, and kick.com/PrimetimePK. We do a lot of fantasy football stuff. I love having the chats be interactive. If it were up to me, Honestly, it would be easier. I wouldn't plan anything. I would just come on here and say, all right, what do we want to talk about? And we would just do the live Q&A thing every day. But, not quite at that point yet. So if you want to get in on the chats, let me know and or come in live, and we will do that again tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Yeah, the schedule. The schedule. Even though I announce it, the schedule is always TBD.